Governed by the Open Meetings Law. There's a copy of the Open Meetings Law on the back of the table there for anyone who's interested. Do we have any public comments? Okay, Mr. Scott.
Good morning. I'll be a panelist on the City of Omaha Civil Rights Commemoration here. It's on July 18th. OHA and many other social service entities, fair housing organizations are going to be involved. It's July 18th. The mayor's going to kick this off. It's going to be at the Century Event Center, so it's going to be a big deal. HUD's going to be there. I think somebody from Washington is going to open up the commemoration, so we're excited about that. I'm also scheduled to be a panelist this Saturday at the Creighton University Conference, which I'm a board member on. It talks about health disparities in community living environments and public housing sites. That's at Creighton on Saturday at 9 a.m. for all the conference. Operation Curb Appeal starts on July 7th. We have walkers here. We pass these out. We're excited about that. This is a semi-annual event, and we hope everybody is participating. We also have a OHA job fair that starts Tuesday, May 6th. You can pass these up too. We appreciate Sal and his staff putting together these really nice flyers. Sal, you want to talk about that for 30 seconds?
Just basically, this is an annual thing that we do every year. So far, we have about 42 companies that's coming to get the Gateway building. Our goal is to try to bring around 800 residents from both our scattered site, the family development, also the Section 8 areas that we're going to transport to the site. So yeah, we'll be glad if we still have room for some more companies. So if you have any connection with any company that's actually hiring, we'll be glad to have them.
Congressman Lee Terry and I will be speaking at Underwood and KJ Towers in June to talk about healthcare and its benefits to residents. It's going to be a Saturday. We haven't finalized the date yet, but we do this every year. The results of that green physical needs assessment will be with us in about 6 weeks. This obviously is very important as we find out what our capital needs are throughout our development. The Omaha World Herald is going to do a story sometime next week on some background on the GP&A, and they're anxious to get the results as well, tell the community what our real capital needs are. So it's not going to be a negative article. So we hope that people understand it really are making this challenging. We also I had an excellent meeting with the folks at the Boys and Girls Club. We're going to look to partner with them here going forward. Sal is from a logistical standpoint, is meeting with their staff to iron out how we're going to transport some of our residents, our kids to their sites. So that partnership really is going to be a fruitful one. So we hope we can iron out the logistics on that. That's all I have, folks. Anybody have any questions?
You have the transportation, you have the vehicles you need to transport?
We have vans and buses and things like that. It's just working out times and the minor details. We'll do that on the staff level.
How are you talked about the health facilities that we have within our tower and so forth. Are those being utilized?
They still are. I think that I haven't heard any negative things related to the facilities. I think that there's still a stigma within our resident population that these are STD clinics. I don't know when that's going to be dispelled, but I think Sal can talk more about that if you've heard anything.
Basically, since they finally brought on a provider, since then.
I guess that was my question. Do we have a
Yeah,
full-time
yeah,
provider?
they do. Yeah, we have to have a full-time finally. Since that have happened, the numbers have increased. In my report, it shows that they serviced 141 residents last month versus what they had done in the past, what we was getting about 15 to 20. So the numbers really have changed, and Rudy, who's the coordinator, is really being very open, going to all the resident organizations. But yeah, you're right, it's changed. It hasn't been, but I think we really can see the light as far as the program.
Okay.
141, pretty good.
It's not bad compared to the numbers I was hearing.
Yeah, in the past. Yeah.
I think with the movement towards increased Medicaid, and certainly the work that Karen's organization, NCAP, is doing, only helps. I think that big push when Obamacare hit 8 million really gave it impetus for low-income residents to utilize the service. And that's a net positive. Any other questions? We do. Sal can, if you need more, Sal can certainly print something out. We'll go from that. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Anything anyone wants to remove, take off, discuss? Well, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion is second on the consent agenda. Roll call.
Commissioner Winfrey?
Yes.
Commissioner Bergman? Yes. Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chair Taylor?
Yes. Next item, budget and finances. Michael is in Nashville.
Yeah, Craig and I'll do it.
Okay.
As you know, folks, we did not have a finance committee meeting. Scott Bradley and Len were out. Michael is in asset management and finance management training in Nashville. We had a pretty good month in public housing. Our net income was $44,842 in the positive. Year to date, we still have some challenges as a result of increases in utility expenses. We think that traditionally, as the weather gets warmer, our utility expenses decrease a great deal. So we still feel as if we're going to end the year in public housing in the black. So that's a positive. In May, we will draw down our capital fund administration for the COCC as well as for public housing. That's probably going to be about $850,000 to $900,000 additional money. So we think overall we are where we think we're going to be. If you go to the next page, page 2 in section 8, voucher, we still are way over what we should be. Net income was $238,215 in the black. We're still issuing vouchers. Joan Anderson has 174 vouchers with people out looking. So we'll spend the $1.6 million that we have in reserve. Hopefully by the end of the year. As it pertains to Section 8 admin, we had a net loss for the month of $6,154. This is essentially a break-even program, as you folks know. As we increase our voucher, we issue more vouchers, we will gain correspondingly additional administrative revenue. This program, year-to-date, is about $34,000 in the negative. We're hoping, it is our goal for it to break even this year. So if you go to page 3, our central office continues to to operate in a positive light. For the month of March 2014, we earned $30,038 positive. Our year-to-date central office is $112,634 to the good. I think that the housing authority in our central office operations just needs to continue to hold the line on its expenses. We should come in at or above what we budgeted. HIO lost, for March 2014, HIO lost $34,401. We had to pay our property taxes to the county in March, so that's the reason why this cost center had a negative. Year to date, we're essentially breaking even in the HIO property. How we've done here in HIO is really amazing to me, because traditionally this program, this cost center, has not done well. We have suffered significant losses over the years. At this point in time, throughout the first quarter, breaking even is pretty good for money.
It's kind of always been our goal, but it does, this month clearly demonstrates why the tax issue is so important.
We had to pay our property taxes. How much was it, Greg?
About $100,000.
So you can see that it is huge. Last page, we had no activity in the foundation, and as I said before, our capital fund will be drawing down our capital fund in mid-May, hopefully, based on HUD approving that drawdown. Does anybody have any questions, folks? Overall, essentially, we're operating at budget throughout all our cost centers. As the weather changes, our expenses with respect to utilities will decrease, and that's when we essentially begin to earn additional dollars in our public housing cost center. That concludes what I have.
Do you have any additional comments or questions or discussion?
One question. Is there, I know the city is beginning, we're going to be beginning probably in about the next month and a half or so, a major CSO project. And I know it's going to block off and involve Evans Towers. I mean, I don't know that there's going to be anything that will hinder any problems with them, but I just need people to know that that's probably going to take place.
They have a meeting, who got tasked to go to that meeting? Ryan, that CSO meeting? It's when is the next, he's supposed to go to an update meeting on the project, or have a community meeting. So we'll know more relative to Evans and the impact of the construction over there.
24th Street is going to be significantly torn up for most of the summer. That will include, and I know we're going down to at least probably a couple of blocks, but I would assume that we're going all the expensive. They haven't fine-tuned it yet. You'll know more at that meeting. I just want to give people a heads up about Evans, because it's probably going to have to be some different ways to be in the park.
Is the city going to reimburse businesses and homes for the construction or the issues that may come about?
Probably not.
But it was nice of you to think of mine.
So we're all clear, if they start digging up the front yards of folks using, saying the city's not going to reimburse?
Oh, no. CSO is going to, that's all part of the CSO project. They will, not only will they replace, but they will probably go the extra step and beautify. So that's a part of
What are
the
you
project.
talking about?
Obviously, they're not going to reimburse you just because you have some additional problems getting in and out of your property,
No,
or it might cost you some.
Yeah, no, but they're going to replace. I mean, if they have to dig into the yards, which I doubt, but even if they do,
If they
replace
impact your
it.
property, they have to.
They have to replace it.
So, okay, so if a community, and we're off topic here, but if a community has a large tree and the sewer is impacted, you know, a lot, we have a huge tree at Evans, 2 huge trees at Evans. If it impacts the, you know.
Trees have to go.
the
Well,
trees
they're
would
not
have to-
doing private water mains.
Yeah.
They're just doing the main.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
It
so
shouldn't
they shouldn't
get-
be coming
it
on the
shouldn't get far
property.
It shouldn't be coming on, it shouldn't be coming on the property.
Okay.
Because,
Just the main.
yeah, it's just the main.
And if it does come onto the property, they have to give you some compensation.
They do.
And they do.
Mhm.
So we've dealt with that in the past, where they do give us some compensation for
They,
it.
a few $100 for the temporary use and
Exactly.
things like
Yeah.
that. And then they replace, they have to return it to at least its previous condition.
That's good.
I'm just wanting them to know because Evans and some of the businesses in that area are going to be affected, so.
Folks, we put that fence up at Evans, if you haven't seen, really nice decorative fence. You know, we're gonna put, Ryan is putting up a sign, another sign, as we're probably gonna do throughout all our towers. If you haven't seen the fence, it looks pretty good. I want to thank my staff for development and PA for getting this done. We're going to spend some money with respect to Cloverfield at Evans and many of our other colleges this summer, so just got to stay tuned.
Next item, asset management. Susan and Terrence.
Morning, Commissioner.
Good morning. Go ahead.
We did meet our monthly goal of 98% or better, but there are some highlights regarding 7 of our properties were at 100%, 5 were at 99%, and 4 hit the minimum benchmark of 98%. One key goal that usually transitions to a positive net, but it didn't this month, is that we actually rented more units than were vacated. Also, I just want to add, although we didn't meet our monthly goal, we still have a strong year-to-date average at 98.76%. So we're still maintaining overall pretty steady, but we're going to try to get back on track. April is a tough month. We had some training, which is always positive. Some other, we're understaffed at some areas, but we're still rolling up our sleeves and going to hit it as best as we can. You have our report. If there's any other questions.
I appreciate your diligence, Terrence. I wouldn't let that 4% ding you too much.
Hey, folks, I want to give you this, you went out with a study on beyond sensationalism. It's talks about the myths of hoarding.
Oh, you give it to me first now.
This is a huge issue in our towers. So we're going to try to bring that issue to light with respect to people keeping so much. I'm not going to say junk, but a lot of stuff in there that's, ultimately, Terrence and Susan talk. This is becoming a problem. You got a second to talk about that?
And a lot of, especially older, when they downsize, coming from a house to a one-unit apartment, they still want to try to bring in as much stuff as possible. We've seen where there's literally boxes from the floor to the ceiling. It also carries over into the issues of being able to properly treat a unit for bed bugs and/or infestation. The more things you have, the more places they can hide. So the kill success rate goes down substantially. We do have a prep sheet that we send, but the prep sheet is designed, under normal circumstances. Send a prep sheet to someone whose unit is just full is tough. And then also you deal with the issue of elderly and disabled who have the ability to clean out their units. But we partner with Sal, and Sal has a lot of help groups like NOAA and places like that are there to assist with.
And we actually have a class that's training that's coming up through a NOAA, and so we're going to try to share that with staff to make sure we all attend and get some insight.
So we were looking at maybe some education in the towers as far as, I know we do some education with regard to bed bugs and treatment, but,
Boards, yes.
Also as staff, hoarding goes beyond just wanting to hold on to belongings. A lot of times how our training is designed is more health and safety, more dealing with the units itself. So we're gearing towards like Project Harmony that you suggested so we're gearing towards being able to assess more on a person's level as opposed to assessing the units as we traditionally have in the past.
and then I think just to, you touched on it there, it sounds like you guys have reached out to Project Harmony and there is a way to set us that before we want to.
Project Harmony has classes available. We can schedule our staff in the existing classes, or they're willing to work with us to set up our own classes. Probably have to look at that after we act, but it is free, so we don't have to pay anything for it.
And that would be for the board's edification. Project Harmony provides a class called Home Visits 101, and they actually train people who do routinely enter into homes or do home visits for various reasons, whether it's maintenance, inspections, et cetera, on how to identify problems in the home, potential challenging situations, and also give them education on when and how to report. Since we have people who have kind of a frontline exposure to a number of our units, that there's a way for them to have some comfort level where they know what they can identify, what they should report, how to do it. Not only for our staff's edification and security, but also for our own liability. But we're working with that, and I think we're trying to get staff done with that sometime this year.
Definitely.
So the purpose of this is to help the residents understand that they can't have all of these things in their home.
Yes.
And that way, that's what I've been telling you about the bed bugs and things, because they have too many things in their home, and that creates bed bugs. So can we have them to come out to our meetings and have a meeting with them?
Actually, I think that's what the chairman alluded to as far as from the bed board education standpoint. Can we do classes, in-house classes, or training on board? So once we go through this training, hopefully we'll be able to bring that facilitator on each site to do the same thing.
And do education on site,
Yeah.
particularly in the towers, I think.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further comment or discussion on asset management? Not, we'll move on to section 8. Joan?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
You have my monthly report. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. I just wanted to point out a couple things that, as Mr. Scott had mentioned, we have 181 families out looking, and that's including families that are coming into the Omaha area under portability. And over the last couple of months, we have leased up 70 brand new families to the portability from our waiting list. So we'll continue to do that, and hopefully we'll reach 125 by the end of next month.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is HIO. HIO did not meet last month. HIO will meet in May. We haven't met in a couple months. So we'll update the board on that as long as we're there. Ryan, do you have anything on Chandler? Basically, the biggest thing HIO did right now.
Essentially, we've got some more paperwork that they just sent to me. So we're thinking probably submitting to HUD in the next 2 to 3 weeks for sure. There was another project they're working on in Louisiana. They got priority over Chandler because it was ready to do some project engineering. So I suspect that it'll definitely get submitted here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so we had some success on that, on the engineering, bringing the cost down? Okay. Does anyone have any questions on HIO? Not, we'll move on. Support, capital development and construction, Ryan.
Morning, Commissioners. Before you have my report, like Mr. Scott said, GPNA was a 2-week process. Our group out of Texas, and we're excited to get the report back. Obviously, it's been 10 years since we've had one, so definitely time.
Has it been that long, 10 years?
2004. Wow. Yeah. And then part of that, I was able to get the contractor to do the PCA for our considerable less than if we would have had to go out to other parties, so that was good.
PCA is what?
Physical conditions assessment for that on the scatter site houses. So, they're going to work on because we need that to continue forward with the RAD process. They're going to get that report to me hopefully within the next couple of weeks, and so we can get that so we can keep moving forward on my RAD. And then the park. What's that?
So we have no alternates.
Can I ask a question about the I've noticed some of these properties have been on here for a while. What's kind of some of the issues around working with the city or just getting them rehab? What are some of the issues that are?
Yeah, so actually 122nd Ave, finally, the city signed up on that, which I did yesterday. Some of these are fire units, it's just a combination of a lot of things. And I would say there's a couple that just kind of drug out. One, because the resident wasn't willing to let us shut her power off, and so we had to work with her. And so anyway, I think for the most part, most of these are within the time limits. A couple did get out of time limits, but it's been a scheduling process too. I mean, trying to get work with the city and make sure that they can be there and can meet them and stuff like that.
Have they been supportive to work with?
For the most part, there's a few that have been a little bit more challenging than others, but I mean, I can't say that they're out of line. I'm just saying they're a little bit more difficult to work with. So.
And I've had just, Jay's busy, but I've had a couple conversations with Jay Davis about putting together our main staff with their inspectors, because it was kind of a little, 1-2 hour, here's what we expect, here's what we need, making sure that everyone's kind of on the same page. Jay's willing to do it, we just need to schedule. And I will follow up with Jay, on the other day, so I'll follow up with Jay next couple weeks and see if we can just move that forward. We haven't really had a whole lot of issues in the past, but I think we kind of agreed it would be helpful if our maintenance staff and the city inspectors, at least we're able to sit down for a couple of hours and go through, here's what we expect of you, here's what you're doing, and in that way, if things arise, we've had a mutual understanding of what we're doing. So I'll work on that. Anything else on capital development and construction?
Can I ask a question about just the GPNA process too? So are they assessing like lead in the properties and asbestos and things of that nature, or is it more just the actual structural condition versus environmental?
I don't know that they necessarily do the environmental testing. Maybe if they saw something like tiles, like 9-inch tiles, which are known to be asbestos, they'll make note of it. They'll just say, recommend getting tested or something like that. I know they made those. I remember going back to the towers, and some of our towers still do that 9-inch tiles, which are not for asbestos. So they're going to make note of it. It would be on us to go back and get them tested and removed and remediated properly. So.
Keep in mind, anytime we do construction of any kind, we have to have an environmental review. And it has to be submitted and approved by a third party. So with these RAD units, the 306 RAD units, we're going to have environmentals for all of these units. Any kind of additional construction that makes us perform these environmental reviews, and they entail the environmental reviews.
They check for
they
any significant lead, asbestos, toxins, soil testing. They do basically the wonderful gambling environmental reviews to determine what the presence is of any toxins, and then they'll either make you clean it up as a condition of moving forward, or if you sell the property, that the buyer takes the subject of those environmental conditions and is going to remediate it before they move forward.
What if individuals living in the structures are tested for lead and
We have a
that
whole,
positive, what's that
yeah, we have a
process?
different protocol in that now. that we're working with the county. We generally have an agreement with the county that the county is supposed to make us aware of if they test and find children with elevated blood levels, they're supposed to let us know, and we can go in and do our own testing to make sure that we remediate the properties. So we've had extensive discussions with the county health department regarding that issue. That's generally been the protocol. On the Section 8 side, they're supposed to notify the inspection department in Jones Group if they find a child with an elevated EBL, elevated blood level, so that we can go in and conduct an inspection to determine whether or not the landlord also needs to remediate those properties.
On the Section 8 side, if Joan talk more, if we get an elevated blood level reading, a notification will come, we generally remove the tank. We give them about 15 days. From our perspective, if we get notification from a public housing resident, we have a company that goes out there and independently tests. AQS is called. So we generally call fair housing real quick when that happens. So
Do we have data on all of this to understand how many, like what's the percentage of our residents that are testing positive and what's the remediation?
we don't, essentially the data is when it comes in and I think we have in our records when we have to remediate it if somebody calls. Say if somebody calls the Spaniards, we've done multiple testing for lead and asbestos and mold. So we do have the data for our public housing units as it pertains to the Section 8 program. The county keeps that information. We don't own the unit. So to answer your question, yes, we do have the data. But we only get the data if somebody essentially thinks that they have been affected with respect to our public housing.
Madam Chair, if I could follow up with Jamie's question. Do we have any relationship at all with Healthy Kids Alliance?
We do.
Okay, and does the Kresge grant allow us to do, does the Kresge grant, the way it's written, does it allow for some of our units to be remediated through that grant with Healthy Kids Alliance?
I think for the Section 8 program, not so much.
I'm saying the Section 8 program. I know it's not for the federally funded housing units that we have, but for Section 8, I was just wondering if we have any relationship with Healthy Kids Alliance, and they have a Kresge grant to do 120 homes, remediation of lead and asbestos and mold and other.
We would have to get that list to ascertain if some of those units are affected or are assisted in Section 8. And I can certainly reach out to Kara and her staff to do that.
I think it's beneficial because it creates one of the things, we're one of 6 communities in the country that got that grant, and I think it will help us, to further get that grant if we can demonstrate, and I think Healthy Kids Alliance is doing that rather well, but I want to make sure that some of our units are included if we qualify.
We can certainly do that. I know they did come in for some training of our staff, helping design. And they're always looking to contract with us with respect to pest control services. So we dialogue with them, at least I do periodically, but we can certainly follow up on
You
that.
might want to see if we're eligible, just in terms of Section 8, John, if nothing else. I think because of the federal dollars that we use for housing and other things, I don't think that grant is eligible. I mean, we're eligible for that grant for housing units, but I think I would imagine we would be under Section 8.
We can check it out. I'll reach out to her later today and find out which units are going to be remediated.
Well, reach out soon, because she and I and a few others are going to Tampa for their convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll copy you on the email.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to know if we can do it through Section 8. I think we probably can. And the landlords ought to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
Procurement and contracting. Steve?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm Board from you, and available for any questions. I'd just like to point out that the project-based value a pre-proposal meeting scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon. If you know anyone interested in that, that would be the time to get more information.
Pre-bid vouchers?
Yes,
Okay.
for project-based vouchers.
Okay, right, okay.
Ryan, did you let Mike know about that?
Yeah.
That meeting?
Might
How
I
would you
suggest too
communicate?
that when you want to get that information out like that, I would suggest that, because Davis Company runs a program where they have a number of contractors and others that run through their program to get bonding, technical services, and those sorts of things. I don't think it'd be a bad idea to just send a formal invitation to them. They've got about 150 contractors under their contract.
Then we do that.
Okay.
How did you communicate that meeting?
This meeting has been advertised, and we've reached out to several people that have expressed interest before.
It's also pertaining to other people.
I'm just wondering if we make sure that we get it to get it to Davis Companies, because they have to do it, and then send it to the Human Rights and Maintenance Department, because they have a list of certified contractors as well that they can get it out to.
When does the solicitation end on that?
It's about 3 weeks we've left it open, so middle of May.
Middle of May?
And that's what we have, 250 project-based vouchers available. Okay. Any other questions on procurement contracting? Human resources?
Gil's not here. We have 3 open positions, 1 in finance, we have 2 in property management. We had 2 new hires, 1 in Section 8, 1 in Zone 9 property management. And we had 2 involuntary terminations as well.
Anything on human resources? Family community services, Sal, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. You got my report in front of you. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Just a couple of highlights. We're still waiting for the step up numbers. Well, we haven't heard anything yet, so I'll let you know what happens next month. Also, we have partnered with an organization at Park North and Park South area to start a garden, not just at Park North and Park South. They want to extend it to other towers. I know they met with Underwood last month to do some garden.
UNO's involved in that too?
Yes.
No, go ahead.
UNO and in common and another organization called Implement 8 Institute. They're going to be partnered with the housing authority to really do some nice. We initially looked at it and we had some questions, but after we went out and visited the site, checked them out, what we thought it would be a great idea to do something in some of that area. That it came to the CACD, also got the support from the residents. Also, the housing authority was selected again this year to be part of the Peter Kiwi Foundation. Last year, they gave us about $38,000 during the summertime for our youth program. So I don't know how much they will do this year, but we've been part of this group for about 19 years, so it's a good thing. Again, they will pay for all the kids, meals for the summertime, field trip throughout the whole city. So it's good. Thank you.
They came to Underwood for the gardens and things, and we enjoyed that. But how do we act upon it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
How do we act upon them getting a garden started at Underwood?
Well, one thing that we're talking about, once they leave you all, we have to come back to the property manager and do the same thing we did with Park North and Park South, to go inside and try to visit the area that they want to do and see what they want to do and see if that will be feasible for what the plans are for the property manager. But it has worked out for the Park North and Park South. And we go in the same thing for all the time. we're gonna get them involved with the Operation Curb Appeal also.
Yeah, we want them to finish one tower at a time. And one interesting thing, like, one aspect of it, they have an arborist, so he'll also look at the existing vegetation, whether it's flowers, whether it's bushes, and see what is actually dead, if it's diseased. They're also going to take care of that. If it's treatable, they're going to do that as well. So this is
For no cost.
no cost. So we're very excited about it.
That was going to be my question today. How can we find more information about it? Because we're very interested in the garden that I'm doing.
Sure. We can get in contact with the gentleman. I know he's in charge of that garden across the street from you also. So I don't know, we just gotta work that out and see how they can do something just for under the.
Thank you.
Actually, I should have asked this on Tuesday. How did they come to, did they approach us through Common, or was it just? How did they approach us, or how did this?
No, it was a gentleman who actually contacted Cliff, Cliff, and Cliff forwarded to us. And we really didn't know the relations, but Nicole did some research and find out how the relationship worked. But Incommon's always been a great relationship with us for the past 2-3 years. So what we did, we just went on site. And the area that we thought it wouldn't be a good idea, or from the staff standpoint, it turns out I went out there, we're not doing anything in that area. So we just thought, hey, if somebody come out here and do a modest free landscaping and do some, why not?
Well, if it's something you can get the residents involved in, and in between that and the mural on Park North and South, I think there's some nice things you can do with that corner.
Yeah, they want to do something long term also,
Yeah, I think that's great.
both with JD and all those guys. So.
Well, I think they're looking to kind of a whole long block, how long, from Leavenworth to Woolworth, kind of beautification all along that whole street, so if we can be an anchor on the end of that, that would be nice.
Yeah, and they will sponsor also the Norfolk Park South for the Operation Curb Appeal, so they actually won't have to handle both in common and this organization, so that'd be good.
Thank you. I was just curious. Yeah.
Having participated in a number of these types of activities, I would just strongly encourage that whatever solution they offer is something that can be maintained over time.
Good point.
I've been a part of efforts where it was a very elaborate type of project that was done, and then a year later was completely overgrown and really challenging to maintain, so, yeah.
Sure, good point. And that's the reason why we're really trying to limit as far as how, if they do fruit tree or not. And I don't know too much about fruit tree, but again, from here, of course, she did some research and said, we have to be careful. So we stay with the fruit tree, not just focus on the garden.
So Nicole's the expert here, right?
She had the time to do the research.
But I think that's where it's very important you get the residents involved in
Yes.
resident participation, because if you get the residents to take some ownership over gardens and things like that, and they do Florence, they actually have a fairly good resident program. They take a lot of pride in how the yards look. So, but I know with Common, particularly at Park North and South, I think there's a likelihood of success there.
Yeah.
As long as you get the residents to have some buy-in and some commitment, it can help.
If you look at this report in detail, and I've been thankful, I've been real fortunate to work at multiple housing authorities around the country. Folks, the impact that this organization has in this community is far-reaching. I mean, you just look at some of the stuff here. We just do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of good in this community. And it just kind of goes along with what we're trying to do with respect to this DP&A and us really changing the look of our properties. And I know we've always talked about, since I've been here, trying to change our story or tell our story in a different manner. This information, and this isn't all Sal, it's really our whole staff, really a testament to who we are. for a long time. And Bob Armstrong and Brad Ashford and Al Patrick were all involved in it. This is some great stuff. Whether you support our mission or not, we really do some good stuff for our residents. And I think the next component to that is improving the look of our property. And that's what we're going to do. But I really am proud of what our staff's been able to do on many different fronts. But I'm especially proud of the impact we have in this community.
And this goes along with the, as you know, from our strategic planning session in January, working with senior staff to kind of develop some sort of plan as to how we do some public exposure, some public marketing, and to actually accomplish what we always talk about, which is how do we tell our stories. And that's something I think staff is working on. I'm working with them in our next executive committee meeting. I think we'll discuss some of the options of how to go forward on that. I've been trying to kind of manage not having too many meetings for you guys in 1 month. So, but anyway, that is obviously a key point of what came out of our strategic planning session. That's important we need to do, and that is something we are working on with staff. And, anything else for Sal? Any other questions or discussion? We'll go into public safety. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. You have before you my report. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. We continue on a downward trend with our numbers, which is a good thing. Hopefully, the majority of things are being reported. We're going through a lot of data to make sure we know what's going on with properties.
Any questions or discussion on public safety? Legal, George.
You've got the report before you. What I will let you do is, number one, I think next month is gone. The U.S. Supreme Court did come back and deny that the request for rehearing, so I'm going to remove that from this report next month. Number two, I've just filed a motion to have the court affirm the trial court's decision. I'm hoping to hear from that. I don't know how long the court of appeals will take to hear that, so that could be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks before we have any resolution on that. Number four, we're in the discovery phase. I've got a partial summary judgment pending. And depending on how the partial summary judgment works, that could narrow the issues in that case extensively. I know the board aware of how that goes. So that's, and we've had no major litigation since our last meeting. We've also got the victory report and Mr. Johnson's file recovery report. And I'll take any questions from you.
Any questions or discussion on the legal matters? Do we have any new business? New information?
I think I do want to make a comment, if you don't mind, Madam Chair. I just want to just kind of add a little bit to what Mr. Scott talked about in relationship to how this staff has moved forward and how we affect our communities and so forth. One of the key factors in that has to be there, and it has to be there in a number of instances, and I wish we had a few other organizations that have boards that are effective with this. I want to talk about this board because I've been here for a lot longer than a lot of you that have been here. And one thing about the Omaha Housing Authority that has always bothered me is the ups and downs of when we have boards sometimes that are quasi on top of things. We've had very serious periods of time where the board was ineffective and the staff was ineffective. And in this particular instance, where we are right now with this staff and this board, this housing authority has made leaps that I have not seen in a very long time. Credit the leadership of both you and Karen and this board in general. I know Jamie is new, but she's gonna do some great things, I think, as well. But part of having an effective housing authority is having an effective, honest, hard-working board. And we've got that now, and I'm very pleased just personally as to how well we have managed just add to that, because we've done some amazing, and sometimes you all may not realize it, because I don't know how long you've been here, but I've been through ups and downs with the Omaha Housing Authority where we've been in receivership on more than one occasion. More than one occasion. And in this instance, we're blazing a trail and path that I don't know has been blazed since we've been in existence. And I'm excited about where the staff is, the methods and operation of this board, including our chair and vice chair. And I just think we're headed in some good places. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Very much. Appreciate that, and I agree. I very much agree. And look forward to Mr. Scott being with us for several years to come next week. We definitely get that today as well.
Yeah.
We do have an update call with HUD this afternoon. I will update the board as I get notes from that. There's nothing further. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion adjourned.
Yeah.
A motion, a second, roll call.
Commissioner Ricker?
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard? Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chair Taylor?
Yes, thank you all very much.